So Aleister, you've almost been debuted the heavy metal superstar of NXT ever since you arrived with the company, getting over some of your under oath moves and darker elements of your persona. Of course, the brand has always been great connection with the musical acts, performing bands to take over events and so forth. With your in-ring style and persona and just the way you are as a person, do you feel NXT gives you that little bit more of a connection and the perfect match to really satisfy yourself into a new audience inside the WWE universe?
I think the WWE has given me a platform to showcase to the world what a lot of fans on like more independent level already saw and already knew. You mentioned heavy metal. Let's put that black metal. I am the black metal of professional wrestling. Let's put that right there. If you look at what we do, we are sports entertainment, and we're all acts to an extent, and you gotta have your heavy metal acts, you gotta have your pop acts, you gotta have your rock acts, but you also gotta get into that gritty layer of society and present something to them. And that's what they did with me. They presented me to them, and that's not something they forced me to do. I had a conversation with Triple H, and he asked me, "How do you see yourself?" And I said to him, I am the Iron Maidens, the Black Sabbaths. I am all the music that kids used to use to rebel against, their parents, against, I wouldn't necessarily say society, but they rebelled against the system. And they basically said, we don't have to do it your way, we can do it our way and still be successful. And that's the exact message that I'm trying to portray towards, the NXT universe. You can be different, and that's okay, and that's all good, and it's fine. Like, I empower people to accept what and who they are. And even if that's not stuff that's conventional, because let's be honest here, we're in a festival where conventionalism is completely thrown out the window. And it's a giant group of people. So it's not even a minority, it's just an overlooked part of society, and I'm trying to present that to the man. So I've been thinking about that for a while, because it kind of seems like it came out of the blue, but at the same time it isn't. Because wrestlers always came out to like rock music and like metal music, but for some reason now more than ever, I think that a couple of years ago when, and I'm speaking from a European standpoint, I'm not speaking from an American standpoint. This is for me as a European trying to explain that, rationalize that. So when I started out in 2002, I wouldn't say I was exactly cool. It wasn't really, oh, you're a wrestler. Oh, you're a wrestler. It wasn't exactly, because people had a certain image of what wrestling was. And as time grew and there was a certain area of our population that started getting more into like retro things, and there were always a little bit more alternative kids, and they turned their heads back to, hey, remember professional wrestling, remember sports and all of a sudden they switched back at it, and it's like, hey man, wrestling's actually really cool. And the style of wrestling had evolved. Wrestling wasn't what it was anymore, and it became more aggressive, more violent, more athletic, and it presented so much more than just what it used to be. And I think professional wrestling, sports entertainment goes hand in hand with what society. I think we are a good reflection of what society always is. So it was only natural for me as a person, like I explained before, to kind of have that already in me, and then being able to collide with that whilst already being influenced by that, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And not just with me, but I mean, look at Pete Dunne, look at Mark Andrews, look at Ruby Riott, look at Wolf from Sanity. Like, so many dudes that are like influenced by punk, hardcore, metal, that have overtaken a certain group within NXT's universe that people flock to. So.
And speaking of some of those real in-ring characteristics of yours, like sitting in the middle of the ring and all these kind of little attributes, a lot of people have kind of connected you with Bray Wyatt in some aspects of his dark style and yours as well. Of course, you've still got a lot to do in the NXT, there's a lot of goals and everything you've set yourself on, but in the future, would that kind of be a dream feud for you? Because the promo possibilities in that would be ridiculous.
Let me comment on your first thing first. I think the comparison is It's very flattering. I respect Bray as a competitor very much. I'm a big fan of him as a competitor. I don't agree with that we're similar, because there's always going to be an influx of different darker characters anywhere. That's like saying that you and him are the same person because you're both interviewers. You know what I mean? Because you're both doing the same thing, but you both have your own style. You all have your own style of interviewing. That doesn't make you the same, because you all write for your respective papers or magazines or websites or columns, you know? So, is it something I've thought about? Heck yeah. That's definitely something I've been thinking about. Like, what would it look like? What would it be? And like all these things, you know, because there's so many possibilities. But the same would go for a Randy Orton. The same would go for a Roman Reigns. The same would go for a Seth Rollins, a Kevin Owens. There's so many things that you can do when you have the right compounds together, and you let them go at the board. You know. Yeah. I think it's long overdue. The UK is obviously a hotbed. Look at the talent that the United Kingdom is presenting right now, and just bringing forth guys like Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews, Trent Seven, Tyler Bates, all these dudes, you know, and they're fantastic. And the funny thing is, I knew all these guys when I was in like 5, 6, 7 years. I saw these young kids coming up and thinking like, oh, here's the new generation, you know. And now look what they're doing. They're changing the game. So I can't be happier for them, because they've all, from the ones that I mentioned to the ones who I didn't mention, they've all worked so incredibly hard to get these opportunities, to get this like spotlight on them, and I hope it does fantastic. And I have to say that because of the United Kingdom being my home, I hope at some point, who knows, I just might walk down that United Kingdom ramp myself for a second or third or fourth, or who knows how many times to get some competition myself.